What is up, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Start, Build, Grow Show. Today, I am actually running solo. I'm going to do a little bit of a shorter podcast today, and we're going to just share some thoughts on something that is near and dear to my heart, something that I am, passionate about, but I'm growing more and more passionate about. And one of the things that I spend a lot of the time in my life as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a leader, as a father, and as a coach for contractors, and that's leadership. Today we're going to be talking about leadership and what makes a great leader. So I have 8 points, 8 key things I'm going to share with you during today's podcast, and I'm excited for you to hang out with me for a little bit, and for sure, if you want to reach out afterwards and connect more, I'd love to do that. So we'll see you in just a minute. All right, everybody, welcome to this episode of the Start, Build, Grow Show. And today we are diving in solo. I'm just running solo today, and we are talking about leadership, and more importantly, what makes a great leader. Now, throughout my career as an entrepreneur, I've had a lot of ups and downs, and one of the things that really one of the pivotal turning points in my life was when I kind of hit rock bottom. I started my business. I was young and completely driven by ego and had a chip on my shoulder. All I wanted to do was prove everybody wrong and build this business and be able to show off money and be this person that I thought I needed to be, or I thought other people wanted me to be, or trying to fulfill some sort of a hole in my own personal self. And what I wasn't doing was focusing on growing and being a great leader. I was just hustling. I was just trying to prove myself to everybody around me, and I failed. And I got to a place where I ended up, a lot of you may know the story, but got to a place where I ended up having to hit the reset button. I was a solopreneur trying to work with subcontractors and didn't really know what to do how to hire people. I hadn't never really, as an entrepreneur, been a leader. I'd been a leader in other businesses when I was, growing up, and different jobs that I had. I always kind of tended to work myself up into a leadership position. Even at a fast food restaurant, I became a shift leader, and at another restaurant, I became a trainer and a manager and a leader. And I was always told as a kid, that I had leadership qualities. As I was kind of reinforced that I was going to be a leader someday, and I was naturally a good leader. And I didn't truly believe that. I had just let the world around me dictate who I became, and I wasn't myself. And once I ended up going broke, ended up going filing bankruptcy, and losing kind of everything, there was a point in my life where I was actually homeless. I lived on couches and in extended stays, and lived out of my truck trying to figure out how to make my next move. And that's kind of ultimately what got me into roofing. And many of you know the story. You can write about it in my book, this Start It, Build It, Grow It, The Contractor's Guide to Success, which is kind of the premise of the show. So you can definitely find that on Amazon if you'd like. But through that was when I really discovered that in order to actually build a successful business, I had to lead. I had to embrace, serving others and helping other people. If I could figure out how to lead others and serve others and help other people, that would then ultimately not only give me purpose and help me, be fulfilled as a person and as a leader, it would help me grow my business. And that was the fundamental thing that I had to learn the hard way. But I learned it, and now I've dedicated my entire life to growing as a leader. I'll probably never be the leader I want to be, but I definitely make an effort to commit to growing as a leader each and every day. So here's a few things that I have learned throughout this journey. There's 8 points that we're going to be talking about today on what makes a great leader. And more importantly, what makes a great leader in roofing or contracting, right? A lot of you who listen to this podcast or watch the podcast, you are in the roofing contracting space or the construction space, or maybe not, but you're all leaders. And most of you are entrepreneurs as well, or going to be an entrepreneur. And the first principle that I think is vitally important, each one of these are so important, but great leaders, what makes a great leader? First and foremost, great leaders know their why. Okay, they go through a process of figuring out what their why is. Ask yourself, why do you do what you do? Why do you get up in the morning to try to tackle the things you're trying to tackle? You must understand your why. And there's a great book from Simon Sinek called Know Your Why, and there's ways to walk through ways to kind of really understand and figure out your why, because that leads us to the second one. First and foremost, you got to know your why. You have to have a deep-rooted why. We all know what we do. We all do, roofing or construction. We sell roofs. We market ourselves. We sell roofs. We produce roofs. We collect. We earn money. That's what we do. But why do we do it? We have to understand that why, because that's going to help us really focus on the branding aspect and helping others, come alongside us as we are trying to chase our dreams in building great, successful, sustainable businesses. So, number one, leaders know their why. Number two, which is correlated, because once you understand your why, you get to lead with purpose. So once you understand your why, you find out what your purpose is. And as I explained earlier, my purpose is to develop leaders. I am passionate about developing leaders. And I want to grow as a leader myself, but I want to help other leaders grow. That's why I do coaching. That's why I do consulting. And that's why I build my businesses. That's why I work every day to grow my businesses and grow the leaders within my organization, because that's my purpose, is to create opportunities for others that allow them to achieve a better quality of life. Simple as that. So understanding your purpose, when you lead with purpose, again, it circles back to getting other people to follow you. Okay. Leadership is all about, creating an environment and being a human being and being a person that others want to follow and others want to be a part of your journey. You're an entrepreneur. You're a leader. It's your responsibility to lead others and to get others to come alongside you to achieve your dreams. But you want to incorporate their dreams as well. So that becomes the purpose. What is your purpose? Helping others, achieve their dreams. Find your purpose. Great leaders lead with purpose. Next, great leaders have a clear vision. Okay, they truly understand where they're going, and a lot of natural entrepreneurs kind of have this visionary mindset where we understand we have vision and we want to do all these things, but there's a fine line between having a clear vision and just chasing a bunch of squirrels and chasing a bunch of shiny objects. Okay, having a vision of I can achieve this and that confidence to grow and achieve the things you want to achieve, that's amazing. You can do that, but clear vision is different. Clear vision means I am laser focused on one thing, and I know how to get there, and I have a vision to get there, and I'm bringing and I'm sharing that vision with the rest of my team to help us get there. Okay, you may have a clear vision. What we like to do is start with a big vision, a big picture. This may be 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road. Like, where do you want to be out there? And what's your universe goal, if you will? What do they say? If you shoot for the stars, you might just hit the moon. So what's that big vision? What's the big vision that you have? And then circle back and then create a 3-year checkpoint or the 3-year vision. Like, where do I want to be in 3 years? Then we circle back again. We bring it back again. And now we go to 1 year. Okay, what's that 1-year vision? Where do we want to be in 1 year? What do we want to achieve in 1 year? And then we operate our lives 90 days at a time. Okay, 1 quarter at a time. 90 days. That's where we need to operate in. Okay, it's great to have these long, big visions, and it's part of our responsibility to do that. But then we got to circle that back to identify what is the clear path, the clear objectives that we need to accomplish in the next 90 days, and then portray that vision to your team. Help them contribute. Help them set goals to achieve in 90 days. Next thing you know, 90 days goes by. You achieve some goals. You set new ones. 90 days go by. You achieve more goals. You set new ones. And you look back 2-3 years down the road, and you've made it a long way towards that big vision that you're chasing. So great leaders have clear vision. Next, the fourth component here that we're talking about, that what makes a great leader, is authenticity. And this is so vitally important. And, I don't know if you've ever been at a job or had a leader of somebody that was, they acted one way in the office, or one way in a restaurant, or one way when you're around them in a professional setting, and a completely different way when they're in a social setting, or completely, different when you get them outside the office. And it could be bad or good. And that's, to me, that's not authenticity. I mean, a great leader is going to be a little bit vulnerable. So here's the reality of it. Another thing I had to learn. As leaders, as entrepreneurs, we're kind of expected to know everything. We're expected to have all the answers. We're expected to be able to solve all the problems. But it's just not humanly possible. We're not going to know everything. We're not going to be able to solve everyone else's problems. We must lean on our team and allow our team to help us. And being vulnerable and authentic in that way really creates credibility for you as a leader. And it's going to help your team want to, again, help you achieve your goals. We got to bring people along with us. We got to get them all, as the cliche says, we got to get them all rowing in the boat in the same direction, right? So being authentic, be genuine, and genuinely care about your team. Okay, authenticity, that will lead us right to the fifth point here, and that is great leaders empower others. Okay, being authentic is one thing, but using that authenticity and that vulnerability to know your strengths and know your weaknesses to then empower others to learn, to grow, and to develop as great leaders is the key here. And we really practice this in all my organizations and all the people that I'm working with and companies that I work with, is we must practice leadership by empowerment. And what I mean by that is, if you're trying to develop someone else and bring someone else along, you can't just give them tasks every day. Here, do this, do this, do this, do this, and then I'm going to look over your shoulder and make sure you did it right. You have to give them a concept, give them a vision, give them an objective to achieve, and empower them to have a little bit of that decision-making process. Empower them to go out and use their God-given skill set to learn, grow, to achieve what we're trying to achieve, but also to make mistakes. Now, I don't know about you, but me as a leader, I've learned more from the mistakes I've made than from anyone else trying to teach me anything. I don't learn very well by someone trying to tell me what to do. I learn well by just diving in, figuring out, making mistakes, learning from my mistakes, and then fixing them and getting better. Now, why don't we as leaders empower our teams to do the same thing? Empower others, empower your team to grow, to develop, to make mistakes, and they will get better. And they're going to ultimately get better than you, which to me, that's the ultimate goal. Find people better than yourself. Next is take ownership. Great leaders take ownership. Now, this isn't just, I own my business and I'm responsible for the business. This is everything that happens in your business is your responsibility. Everything that happens in my business is my responsibility. If I'm the leader, it's my responsibility. If someone out in the field does something wrong, installs something wrong, or disrespects a homeowner, or runs into somebody in one of my company trucks, it's ultimately my responsibility. I cannot blame others. Leaders cannot place blame on others. We must always look internally first. Anytime something goes wrong, anytime we make a mistake, we must look internally first. What could I have done better? Okay? If I had nothing to do with the accident that happened out in the field, did I provide the right training to my team? Did I hire the right person? Did I do a good job, interviewing and vetting and processing someone before I hired them? That's my responsibility. Everything in your business is your responsibility. So we must understand the true concept of taking ownership and not blaming others. We always need to look internally first, and then we need to also do whatever we can to grow and, as I just talked about, empower others to get better. Take ownership. Great leaders take ownership. Seventh, great leaders understand their fiscal responsibility. Okay, I learned this concept a little bit late. I went bankrupt. I went broke. I was not, great with money coming up. I was chasing money. That was my idol. All I wanted to do was was be successful so I can have money, so I can show off and prove all the haters wrong and fulfill this ego and this image of myself. It's not about that. I had to learn to take fiscal responsibility. And what that means is I had to learn what it was to become a fiduciary. Okay. And what that is someone who's financially responsible for those around them. Okay. You can apply that to, like investing terms. If you have an investor or like a wealth management person or something like that. Yeah. They're fiduciary in its literal term. But from a business perspective, being a fiduciary means you take fiscal and financial responsibility for everything in your business. Okay, we got to stop using our business as like a personal checking account. Okay, we are responsible for the lives of everybody that we hire, everybody that we lead. We are responsible for the food that goes onto the tables of all the people around us, our subcontractors, our employees, our business associates. We must take fiscal responsibility. We must understand what it takes to take ownership of running our business by the numbers. It's sad how many contractors, and it's sad, but it's not something that can't be fixed easily. Because so many people get in this business. Again, it's a low barrier to entry. Anybody can be a roofer, be an owner, or start a business. Anybody can go start a business tomorrow. It's not that hard to start a business. You just register and then go do whatever you're going to do to sell and hopefully create an income, and maybe you'll be successful. But understanding profit and loss, understanding profit and loss statements, understanding your balance sheet, understanding cash in, cash out, expected cash in, expected cash out. You've got to take responsibility to know all those things all the time in your business. Okay? Financial and fiscal responsibility. Great leaders take financial and fiscal responsibility. They own their role and they know their role as fiduciaries. And finally, this one is so important. It brings all these things together. And again, this is just 8 things that I've explored over the years and I've learned through a tremendous amount of reading and interacting with great leaders and listening to podcasts and mentorship. These are just some takeaways that have really affected, really helped me, hone in on what I'm trying to accomplish and what I'm focusing on to be a great leader. And there's a lot more things, right? We could talk about leadership for hours and hours and days and days and days. And I encourage you to seek out books and other people and other mentors that can help you grow as a leader. But one of the things that I've figured out, that everybody I study, everybody that I learn from, the podcasts, the books, the mentors that I have, one of the common things that I've seen within great leaders is they live their values. Okay, everybody has core values, whether you realize it or not. They might not be written on your wall. They might not be integrated into your business. But whether you realize it or not, all the things that have happened in our lives have contributed to who we are and how we act and how we conduct ourselves on a day-to-day basis. And we have values. But when was the last time we actually really created an environment where we focused on intentionally living those values, identifying those values and living those values? Okay, your business rises and falls on leadership. Everything happens. One of my favorite quotes from John Maxwell: everything rises and falls on leadership. And if you really want to grow and really have an impact in your business, we have to understand what our true core values are, and are they aligned with the business? And then are all of the people we're leading aligned with our core values as well? We must live those values. How we do anything is how we do everything. If you're a certain way and you act a certain way, you talk about people in a certain way, gossiping or talking down about people, or just being negative or using foul language in contexts that you shouldn't be outside of work, and then in work you're straight and narrow and you're trying to be this specific person, you're not living your values. Okay, we have to understand and live our values. This is a check. All of us can get better here. Nobody's perfect. I am by far nowhere near perfect in this area, but understanding this concept of living your values, living your core values, can change the way you operate each and every day. It can change the way your life is as a husband, as a father, as a wife, as a spouse, and as a business owner, as a leader, as a manager. understanding and living your core values is the core that you can take away and start applying and really making an impact to those around you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. We'll be doing a lot more of these solo podcasts on different topics, but this one is really important to me, and it definitely some of the things that I've learned and that I really focus on living and applying each and every day. Again, one of my favorite sayings is, life is a journey, not a destination. Okay, the journey itself is the destination. So embrace that journey and focus on getting better every single day, and focus on growing as a leader every single day. And I will see you on the other side. Thank you so much for taking time to listen to this. I look forward to hearing from you. Feel free to reach out if you want to talk more about any of these topics. You want to connect with me. You can find us at theroofingacademy.com, or you can find us on all the social media platforms at the same thing, or my name, just Randy Brothers. And you can find the book, Start It, Build It, Grow It, The Contractor's Guide to Success, on Amazon. And I look forward to hearing from you. And if you like this concept, if you got something out of today, whether you're listening in your car or you're watching this, please go to the platform that you're on, whether it's YouTube or Spotify or iTunes or whatever it is. Please subscribe, click the subscribe button, and leave a comment and share it with your friends. If you got something out of this, share it with your friends, share it with other people that you want to have an impact in their lives, and you want to help them grow as leaders as well. Take care. God bless.